You're tuning in to Gone.net.
Hello there. Welcome to another Gone.net. It's been a while. It's been quite a while, but we're back.
John, you've been off lollygagging, and I've been lazy.
I know. I had vacation, and then I had to go to MVP Summit, and then I was sick, and then I think that's it. That was all.
We had a rabbit in there, so I got lots of chocolates. Well, the kids got lots of chocolates, but let's face it, that's for us. That's for us. I mean, you always get the chocolate you like, right?
Oh yeah. In fact, after this stream, I think I will go get some of it before.
Oh, nice. Nice. So I just reminded you that you do have Easter chocolate. That you
of course. There's
all right. So it's been like a month. It's a month.
Yeah.
We'll blame mostly John for that. That's all right.
Yeah.
You can live with it. But yeah, lots of stuff been going on.
Not as much as when I was looking back, I'm like, well, what do we want to talk about? What are some things that we've been working on? Because that's kind of, I think, our go-to now to start, right? What have we been up to?
Yeah. Because last month was insane.
Yeah.
You had the terminal for Maui and the Linux for Maui and Sherpa, which that continues to grow.
Yeah.
You've been lagging on that. You got PRs to commit for me, dude.
There's not a ton left at this point.
There's features, and you've been holding me up. There's
a couple
PRs in there that haven't gone through.
Okay.
Merge on you at some point. I don't know.
That's all right.
And then I did the Apple TV, which is fun but pretty much useless. And macOS, which is also now that is Linux and macOS are the real deal.
Yeah. So
you can talk about.
We also got like we've been moving stuff into this MAUI Labs repo. So this is a new thing. It's under the .NET org. It is a place where we are putting stuff that we think is really useful and might be something that people want to use long term. And we want to, I'm going to be careful about my words because we're not technically supporting it, right? But you know, it's like the stuff we've been building. Sherpa runs on the macOS and the Linux backends that you and I built, and it works pretty well. It probably works well enough for a lot of people to do stuff with. Somebody had posted, I forget where, but I'd seen like out in the wild they were using a Raspberry Pi. They were building a MAUI app with the Linux backend, right? So like it's there. So we want to get this kind of stuff more in front of people and more of a place to like put it that's kind of an obvious, hey, this is like not official or not supported, but like it's pretty decent. I can probably use it. I can probably help contribute to it. And so MAUI Labs is there now, and we also have the MAUI DevFlow stuff is there now and shipping out of that, and there'll be updates and stuff to that. And
we got some cool things planned for it too, which I don't want to talk about yet because next month. That's going to be next month.
Exactly. So that is all cool. And aside from that, here, let me do my show and tell first, if I can get my mouse to cooperate. Oh my goodness. Can you pop my screen on?
I will show your screen. I don't know how you're going to demo this, but there you go.
Well, it's working if I'll get there. All right. So this one kind of probably looks odd. I know I showed you a little bit about this. I've had this need. I've been using my own custom runners on GitHub Actions for a while now, and that's macOS and Linux. And I've been building all these MAUI container images that I've been using for that. The problem is because I have all these private repos, I need to use these custom runners so I don't have to pay GitHub for all the stuff I use, because I go over the free limits like immediately.
Yep.
And so I've built this thing finally that I wanted to build forever, which helps basically orchestrate that. And it's all, this is all AI coded again. I'm not going to be pretending like it's something I've done a ton of my own work on. But the idea is pretty simple, and I'm not going to go into too much detail on it here.
You engineered it, so you got to take your credit.
What's that?
You engineered it.
Yeah, I mean, I told it what to do, right? So you basically create all these different profiles, and so for the Linux one, I've got this profile that says, "Hey, it's gonna be for GitHub Actions. It's this platform. It's using Docker as the execution backend, or I could like run the GitHub runner right on the host that this thing will run on." Um, Credentials and stuff, and then you can set your labels so that it matches, the jobs when they come in to this particular profile. And then you set the image you want to use, which I'm using my Maui containers one. You can set all sorts of environment variables and stuff. And then the cool part is you go to provision these profiles. So I've got this webhook here that I've set up. You don't have my full secret, don't worry. I've set up on GitHub here to go call back to this orchestrator thing. So I don't have any runners now permanently registered with GitHub anymore, which is what I used to do. And the problem with that was like you can do that at the org level and share out, the same runner that way through the whole org. But if you use your private or like your own username repos, those you can't register runners at the org level for like your own user, right? So every repo I was having to go register a new runner and then basically have all these runners idling for all my
Forever.
repo that I could use. So
Yeah.
this is to get away from that. And I have no runners registered. They all register dynamically. So a job gets queued, the webhook calls back into here. This thing matches up, the orgs, the repos, and then you pick like your labels to match up which profile that I showed you before. And you basically say, go ahead and create that runner dynamically based on this profile. And so it spins it up. It registers with GitHub just in time. Your job starts running. When your job's completed, the webhook calls back in. It cleans everything up here if it hasn't been already. And like you just go, right? So this is
basically got GitHub runners running on your machine, like the literal definition of it.
Right. And GitHub has,
right now, when you run it on your local GitHub runner, you can't, it's like it's on your machine. It's not isolated at all. So like if you're doing like a workflow restore or something, it's like, oh, you've already got all this stuff, which is fine. It's fine, but it defeats the purpose of, the build in isolation, so to speak.
Yeah. And I cheat a little bit because like I do have the macOS VM, right? Like I've got, this. Nope, don't delete. Click the wrong thing. The button. I don't know. That's a weird thing with this web UI. Sometimes the button clicking doesn't target right. Yeah. So I'm using Tart as the back end, right? So I've got my own images that I've built for macOS that are actual VMs, and then it creates instances of those on demand. The problem is on a Mac, there's the licensing thing. You're limited to 2 at a time in parallel. So like one Mac Mini can only run 2 jobs at once, which kind of sucks.
Thanks, Apple.
So I've also kind of said, well, I want a way to do this native too. So this will just spin up processes with their own like work directory right on the Mac itself. So there's an Orleans grain running on each of the like physical hosts that you want to wire up. And then they are responsible for how to orchestrate the job to run, whether that's Docker or Tart or just right on the device itself.
It's beautiful.
And so I've got Linux and Mac working well. I've got Windows building and deploying in like my test environment, but I haven't really tried it out there yet because I actually do have like Windows Docker images as well for MAUI. So yeah, it's I'm pretty happy with this so far. It's really alleviating a need that I have, which is like I have hardware, I want to use it, and I don't want to have to like figure out how to configure it all with all the different repos I want to use it on. So
clearly, I didn't help you with naming this app because it's a fantastic app. You just don't do the marketing well, dude.
Come on, man! Runner. It's a runner of runners.
Yeah. All right, let's see this one.
All right, this is the second thing. This is totally changing gears, and so I was inspired by both Michael Stonis and you to create my own just controls that I needed, but like as just custom drawn controls, right, with AI. So in my pool app, I have this issue where I want to add a feature to track your schedule of your automation equipment, whether that's something that you put into like your actual system. I want to be able to log it in my app so that we can calculate like how much chlorine did your saltwater generator generate in the last 10 days or whatever, based on the schedule that you would have it running, right? So to do that, it's kind of a weird UI because you have like usually three things at least. You have your pump, you have what you want to set your heater to, and you have your saltwater generator. And I want to, and a lot of these allow this kind of like overlapping schedule. Like you want to say, I want from 1 a.m. to 11 a.m. I want to run it at this speed, but then, or like maybe a better actual example is later in the day, but then at some point I want to kick it up into high gear just so it gets like one really good, turnover of the water in the pool. And so you have all these like layering of things where people don't want to have to put like these individual segments in to track that. It's like, because as you enter it into like your actual equipment, usually you can say like, always run it at this speed, and then between these hours do this speed and this speed, and it kind of figures it out.
So is this Dia?
This is MAUI Graphics.
Oh, you did it in MAUI Graphics.
Yeah,
nice. Okay.
And so I started adding like all these, like you can grab and resize. You can change the. I think you have to have these overlap. You can change the order of the like who wins precedence, right? So like now 1500 wins that whole space, and then 2500 is going to kick in after this one, but you can still kind of see where it was drawn to and everything, which is kind of neat, which is what I wanted. And you can move the priorities up and down. Yeah, and then the cool thing that I found with this was less the code itself in a way, but I was redesigning another screen in my app with AI I'm like, I'm not a designer. I don't like the look of it. Can you help make this better? And it came up with this whole plan. But one of the things that was kind of cool is in the plan, it's like, we'll add haptic feedback at a certain point because like that's kind of a common enough pattern, I guess, that's used. And like, in that instance, it made sense. And I was like, oh, where that would also be good is in here. So as you click and drag and hit those like snap points, it's giving you that haptic like and it like, it's hard to describe, but I'm like, this just makes it so much better. It feels like such a better control. And it's not something I would have ever thought about other than AI suggesting it in a different use case that I was using the AI for. So that was kind of a fun moment of like, I don't know if you've had those before too, right? Where you're like, I wouldn't have thought of doing that even.
Yeah. No, in occasion it comes up with some good ideas where it's just like, hey, like I haven't seen it do haptic feedback yet. At least for me, but I guess it does make sense here. It's a nice little pop.
Yeah. It's like as you slide it around, it makes the use of the control like just absolutely that much better.
You're gonna have to trust John that it works.
Yeah, early days, but that's one of the things I've been kind of working on to put in my app.
Sweet. So I've been doing, I don't know. So one of the things I've been doing is I think vibe coding's about to get quite a bit more expensive. We're already seeing signs of it. So Claude announced this week their Opus 4.7. And if you're a Claude user, John hears it frequently. Every time it goes down, I think I just nag at him because I'm like, it's down again.
It's down.
So it's been dying a lot lately. Opus 4.6 has been dying a lot lately. It's never down for long, but whatever. And then Opus 4.7 was announced yesterday or 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
Was it not? It wasn't just yesterday. I don't know. It feels like forever in AI time.
So right now, apparently, we're getting a subsidized rate on both Claude and Copilot. So GitHub Copilot. And right now, I think it's at 7x.
Yeah. Well, Copilot's interesting, right? Because the way that it was charged or still is, but is changing. I'm not clear. Like, and to be transparent, like, yes, I work at Microsoft. I have nothing to do with the pricing of this or anything like that. But it was like per request, right? Like per premium request was like one of the billing aspects. And so like a request could have been any size of tokens almost, right? So you would maybe have gotten a good value by having a request that like was a really long one that returned a ton of tokens, and compared to a shorter request, like you're getting a lot for that same price, I guess. And I think that's shifting to be more actual token usage is what it seems like.
Well, so for the hard problems that we're looking to solve, Opus is apparently going to around at least 15x next month, maybe even as high as 30. I've started to hear. So, wow, right?
Yeah, that's significant.
So
if that's the case, yeah.
My goal, and I've said this since we started this, I still believe libraries are going to be a thing because it's going to cost hundreds of dollars to get in if you're just a starting out guy, right? And the other thing is that for every app, I don't want to have to code this every time. Yes, I know AI can get in there, and everybody's like, "Hey, we don't need libraries because AI can do it." But if it's going to get more expensive, you don't want to be vibing this with every single app if you're doing stuff simple, right? So I still believe libraries have an advantage there. The point is, and I think David made this on the stream, and you've said it before, it's like collection view, right? So collection view in MAUI is known to be sometimes not performant.
Yeah.
But it's because it's trying to solve world peace. And I use that meaning it's solving every possible issue and every way a user could come at that. And so it's like the jack of all trades, master of none type scenario, right? So in those scenarios, it's good to say, I need to make a control that just does exactly what I want. Nothing else. I don't care about grids. I don't care about funky layouts. Just pop this crap on a screen and let's go. So there is value to that still. I'm not saying there's not, but I still think controls like what you showed with your pumps and stuff, like you're not going to do that with a standard control.
No.
But I still have needs. Now let's not look into infinity here. I still have needs. So this is one. So this is the Shiny controls. I released my own control kit, which that's funny because I hate UIs usually. But like I've been bugging David and John forever. Give me a table view. There is one that's out there. Like I said, this one is coded off of these AI forms settings view, but it only hits Android and iOS. And I was like, I want this for everything, especially when we start talking about macOS and Linux.
Yep.
I just wanted it to work there, and I wanted it in Blazor too. Why not?
So that's just as a side note, I think an increasingly interesting point in terms of like how do you make controls and stuff and UI that's not in the box. Like, okay, there's Linux now, there's macOS. MAUI has a WPF backend that will pull in there just because why not? If somebody wants to try and use it, it's not supported, whatever. But as you make these kinds of things, like that's going to limit the usefulness of more platform backends if they're not done in a certain way, essentially. Right.
So there are still times where I have to break out a little bit, like borderless entries and stuff on iOS. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But for the most part, I can take this now and use it everywhere. Same with my scheduler. So I ended up making a scheduler.
So hold on. The table view, can you back up? So you've built that. Does it have like platform specific TFMs in it? Is it something that will just translate over because it uses MAUI controls in some places?
Yes. So everywhere is using MAUI controls except for two places where I have to break down. So for instance, like password and username here, you'll notice there's no border on it.
Right.
In order to do that on iOS, you got to dig. It's something that's missing in MAUI, and it's probably been asked for forever. But it's not an easy problem to solve without breaking down into the native layer. So that's the part where I said, you know what, just for iOS and Android, let's go down to the native platform, kill the borders off and be done with it. Right.
Do you use like so I guess maybe a better question is like, have you tried this thing on like the Linux backend? Does it just work?
Yep. It just works.
Yeah. Like that's the kind of, so like it'd almost be interesting just thinking out loud here live is to try and distill a skill out of what things you have to consider when you're building something like this, like in terms of will it work on those other platforms, even if you're not like directly targeting them?
You probably don't even need a skill really.
Maybe not.
I give it two conditions. One is must be AOT, right?
Mm-hmm.
Must be AOT. Second is do not break down into the native platforms unless you say it's absolutely 100% necessary.
But
And
then
then
have
we'll
like
talk
a
about it.
not a polyfill, but like have a reasonable fallback or
Right.
degrading way to do it, right?
So like I said, for this two things, just to get a
Yep.
borderless entry, I allowed it to break down.
But
It
that's
doesn't affect anything else. Who cares?
yeah, I
Right.
was gonna say, but that's just like if that code not running on Linux, for instance, doesn't matter. Like
Right.
it's not going to break it. It just it's only going to happen when it's on those platforms.
Right.
Yeah.
So that turned out well. I did the same thing for a scheduler. This is not MAUI graphics. This is pure MAUI.
Okay.
It works. This works on Linux. It's kind of a bit funky on Mac OS right now. But we're getting there.
How are you handling like the layout and everything? Is
the
that
layout?
all? Yeah.
So the calendar at custom built with
Yeah.
grids and stuff.
Okay.
The agenda view, same kind of ordeal. This one isn't actually that hard, turns out. And same thing. This is obviously just a grouped collection view,
Yeah,
right?
that
So,
one seems easy. Yeah.
um, it's pretty easy and trivial once you get into it. Then when you start getting into these overlapped kind of events and stuff, that's where things get a little funky. But for the most part, these are all native controls. I told it exactly what I want, where I wanted it, how I wanted it, what I wanted to be able to customize. And within about an hour, I had all of this churning. And I'm still adding stuff to it because it turns out this agenda thing is actually there's a lot of things you want to
Yeah.
do when you're doing it. So I keep adding it. But the point is it's free, right? Like I don't have to do much. I can go in and add it, move on with my day, and use it. So this is actually being used in an app right now that I have, which is fantastic. Like I don't have to pay anything for it. And I've got the calendar, I've got the agenda, I've got the events, I've got custom templates everywhere. So yeah, it's a win. No $1,000 licensing per month, and it does exactly what I want. Does it do everything? No. Will it do
but
everything?
a lot of
No.
the other controls don't do everything either, right? Like
Right.
I think the interesting thing is kind of the showing, like you said, like if you have something that's really purpose built that or you need to be purpose built, like now it's maybe not unreasonable to try and just do that.
Right. I mean, I think I have a bottom sheet now, which this is actually something I've had in my apps for a while. I did add some features to it. But I just figured let's bring this out. Let's have AI document it because obviously I didn't do this fantastic documentation. I just told it how I want it to look and what things I want on it. And I mean, heck, even Maui DevFlow takes my screenshots for me.
Yeah, I know, right?
So I actually tell it I want to get some screenshots of this control. And you go in and you tell it take the screenshots and then add it to the docs. I don't even do anything. I have this blob that says run the app, go into each screen and take a picture of each feature, and then add it to the docs in the README and go. And it takes about 15 minutes. I walk away and it's just done. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have my bottom sheets here now. I have a fab menu. This kind of looks like crap, but I pulled it out of other apps. I have my pill view, which this thing I've used everywhere. I have a security pin, which I used everywhere. I have this image viewer, which is surprisingly, I've had this one forever. It's not as easy as you might think. When you pinch to zoom, you double tap to zoom in and out, and you pan. It's actually not as easy as it sounds. But I've had this one for a while. So like a lot of these controls I've had and I've just documented, but then I started to go wild with like Markdown. I was like, hey, I want to Markdown it and I want to view. So let's see where we can go. And so now I have a Markdown viewer and editor for Maui and for Blazor.
Is that just, did I see that you're using like text, formatted text or whatever the thing's called? Like,
yep.
Sweet.
With a, there is a toolbar. These are older screenshots. I guess I got to update my screenshots, but I mean, again, it's something that I need for another project and it's just done in like 5 minutes. I also went wild because I needed diagrams recently. And Mermaid, if you've done any diagrams where you need to change or easily make a diagram, I mean, you're going to use it in Mermaid now. I don't know if anybody knows that markdown format, but oh my God. Forget all of the other programs you've seen. Just use Mermaid and you're gold. So this thing actually runs, this does MAUI graphics and renders the format. I mean, it's this is as vibed as it can be, but it works.
The nice thing with MAUI graphics too is, again, that's going to work on the other platforms out of the box, right?
Right.
So
that's what I've been working on. I know a lot of people are like, hey, we don't need documentation anymore. I mean, that was probably the number one nag I had forever. And now my documentation, I always tell John, I'm like, it's the best documentation we have. I finally did it. I mean, heck, it even builds your apps now if you wanted to. So if AI ever collapses for a little while, my docs are up there now. Like you just click buttons and it lays out the project file. It lays out everything. It's awesome.
I think, for the time being, we still are in this transitional period at the very least, where this stuff, where you still want docs. Like I still want to go and look at things. I might not, go super into detail, but yeah, exactly. And then like, this is the thing you want. So why not start with something that looks good too?
And I've got all the AI skills set up, ready to go. It's, it's a good time. It's a good time. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. And I'm still going to have docs, still got all the skills flowing. And now I got free controls. Like I said, use libraries. They're still good.
Yeah.
So now comes the fun part, because we did have a plan today. I'm going to put on my damned ears. So John let me down. He was in, here's my ears, my Mickey ears. So John, you were in Disney. You didn't get ears. I bugged you forever to get ears. So I'm going to
I actually,
for 5 seconds.
I went there considering that I might, and then I honestly just forgot.
He's a liar. He didn't want to get ears and join me. So I'll take the shot for both of us. It's fine. It's fine. So today we were going to build a native macOS MAUI app that also uses native BLE from macOS, because that's something I didn't talk about. But all of my Shiny stuff, including BLE, now supports Linux, Windows, macOS, and Blazor. Doesn't say web here. See, Vibe let me down. There's supposed to be a web icon here as well. But BLE now works with like everything: Blazor, macOS, Linux, Android, iOS.
Blazor was the one. Which you're saying that browsers still don't do something for some
browsers still stuck for BLE. They're just awful. So it's more of a toy, but maybe one day we finally get it. This is the reason why people went to native apps for the longest time, and why they still continue to do them, because it's like the old farts that run the W3C just cannot decide on stuff. Like, why do we not have this done? Why are we still in this web Bluetooth cycle like 3 years later? They still haven't decided. So it's there. It does work. It's worth trying, but you got to turn on some funky settings, and it's really only Chrome supported, but whatever. The good news is, though, is that we have a bot. So this is a Disney bot. John does have one of these.
Yeah, I didn't go find them from the kids' rooms, but they each did one years ago.
So I decided I'm going to take these damn ears off. Okay, I did my part. John let me down. That's all right. So we have this Disney bot. I have coded the Disney. I don't know what's going on here with Ryder, but I have coded this thing so we can scan for droids. Yes, it's using RX. Get over it. You'll survive. But Shiny Bluetooth is RX, so we're going to use it. It returns a droid. It'll tell me like what kind of droid it is, if it's connected, what its name is. They're all named Droid, so I don't know why this happens. And then its identifier, and then we can do stuff like play a sound, play its next track that's in its memory. So it does tend to talk. Set its volume, which this doesn't really work on my droid, but it does on the other droid that my daughter has. Drive forward, drive backwards, turn left, turn right, an immediate stop, because turns out it will go indefinitely sometimes. The head will move on this guy. I'm sure you can see that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we can do all that stuff. And it does have, I do have a raw command send, but really apparently there's some hidden stuff on these droids, but I haven't found much yet. So anyhow, this does work. But what this really works right now, I've got the target set to, right now, I've got it set to just Android and iOS. I thought for the purpose of the stream, we would vibe up something with macOS. So what I am going to do is
Not just Catalyst.
I don't want to do Catalyst because again, I support. So I want to build a new macOS MAUI app using platform. What do we call it? Platform.maui.macOS. Do you remember?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Might need to check just to be sure. I can't even remember how we name these things. Is that bad?
Which it'll be changing.
Yeah, I know.
Once it gets moved over, but for now the packages are something like that, or platforms maybe.
Is it platforms?
Might be platforms. Or it's not, high in the results.
You know what? I remember using macOS library from https://github.com/
It's
org
platform. It does seem to be
MAUI platforms.
Yeah.
We will be using the latest beta of Shiny BluetoothLE that supports macOS. I'm going to say this because it automatically AI assumes when you put macOS, you mean Catalyst.
Right. Which is because that's what we've told people for years. MAUI is supported on Mac as Catalyst.
So we're just going to help it out a little bit and say, no, dummy, we mean AppKit. So this app will have a couple set of functions. This app will have a chat with AI using, I'm going to use Anthropic's because I have a key for it. Anthropic's integration with Microsoft.extensions AI. We will have a tool that will connect to a droid. And allow AI to control the droid moving around using, what did I call the library? Let me pull it up again. It says I still use, now a lot of people are saying, oh, I don't use IDEs anymore. I still use IDEs. I still use to see the code, to move things around. I still find I'm doing caretaker stuff. So using our Disney Droids.ble, I will provide a constants file with the Anthropic key. Let's see what we get. I'm going to start that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Is it going to confuse droids for androids?
It
so far should be okay.
I think this one will be fine.
Especially because you've pointed it at like the library and stuff. So
we shall see what this thing is going to do. Now, the thing is, it actually shouldn't need to go get my library at all. It should, because it's already referenced. So like this guy should be using, so it's using the beta already, which does have, we'll pull that up. Again, we're going to let that vibe for a minute. It's going to take a few minutes to figure out all of its stuff. So again, and maybe this is a good time to talk about it too. So we have iOS, there's the Mac OS, Windows, Catalyst, Android. So a lot of people are going to say, well, where is Blazor? Where is Linux?
Yeah.
And I think we're on the same page. You and I have both said they really need, I understand why Linux doesn't have a TFM. I do. Yeah. Web is an argument, but again, I see why they don't need it. So the teams that don't need it.
Yes.
But as we start to look at Blazor and Linux, they really target net 10.
Yep.
The issue is, so let's say I put these in the base library, right? So under net 10, it means it's going to pull in all of that code for my iOS and Android apps, even though I'm not using Linux code, I'm not using the JavaScript, and it's large, right? Now, the linker probably will have trouble figuring these out to pull them out. So it's going to pull in all this junk for these two platforms because we don't have a TFM. I mean, it's very easy to, I could make this one library and say, if it's the web platform, use the Blazor stuff, else use the Linux stuff. But I just figured, you know what? Let's separate them out entirely and we'll go from there. But really, we need TFMs for Linux and Blazor. Or web.
Yeah, no, that is like, yeah, that's going to be a problem to solve in some way. I don't know that we'll get TFM, like the platform part, but maybe it becomes more of a convention of, you know, some property or something, which still isn't great. Don't get me wrong. But there's things like the trying to incorporate like the resizetizer kind of stuff and build tasks, right? Like how do you scope out certain things depending on running on Linux or not? So it is definitely a challenge.
So I'm just telling it because it's deciding to do some research on BLE, only because I guess I brought it up. And now it's like, here, I'll go look it up. I'm like, no, dummy, it's already handled. Just go set up the macOS project for us. Give it a second to figure this out. This is the thing, too, that I've been saying. Like, Claude used to be able to do this in record time, and I'm on a max plan.
So, what level of thinking are you set to now? Because I think that starts to influence it more than it used to as well for the new.
I'm on the fast, so it should be going fast. I'm not on a
like,
medium.
like high and medium and whatever.
Yeah. So this one, I don't know, over the past 3 weeks, it has gotten slow. Like you can see it's not consuming any more tokens. Right. So it's kind of brain dead at the moment.
It's doing something up there.
And this is what I don't like. And this is why I still believe libraries are going to answer a lot of questions, because with things getting more expensive, we don't want it churning on libraries. We want it churning on the business.
Yeah.
So
and
get the Bluetooth, go do the thing, wire it all up, and then we will iterate on that. I don't want it to write a Bluetooth library. That's already done.
Yeah, and the more that you like, I think there's ultimately a balance to make, because as you add more stuff that you're like, well, I'll just write my own, you know, from scratch. Like, well, at what point do you stop? Kind of, where's the line?
Yeah.
And then the more that you are adding in, obviously, it's more code that you have to maintain. It's more context potentially that AI has to look through while it's doing stuff, right? If you're going to go say, oh, like, let's go audit our code and refactor this and stuff, like, well, now it's got to go look through all the other stuff. Yeah, you're obviously adding to the cost the more that you do those things. So it's kind of
arguably, I've given this a pretty stupid context. Like, I didn't give it a lot of information. Now, it should have looked at the library and gone, oh, you've already got this. Don't spend time figuring it out. But it's just thinking. It's not burning tokens. So it's right now I'm queued.
Yeah, it knows that you're trying to do this right now. And so it's just like, nah, let's take it slow.
I mean, the thing is we can always come back to this next week anyways. We'll get it started. I will commit this code to our gone.net repos. We are going to make the goal is to take this stupid guy, and I think to start, my plan is that I chat with it, and if I say something like piss off and it gets mad, it knows the sound to make because R2 makes some cool noises. Maybe I'll turn them on for a second.
Oh yeah, you wanted a model that, you know, could deal with some spice, so that
exactly
can have a fun reaction.
Hang on, I'm going to get my phone app out. 1 second.
So this is, as you do that, this is a basically AI only app, right? Like the chat is your entry point pretty much. So this is an idea that I think we've been contemplating more and more too. Like what does it look like to make your app, do apps at some point become mostly AI interface first and only even. And like, do we become the now implementers of you know, representations of our data models and stuff for the chat rather than building out a whole UI? So I think like it's an interesting use case to kind of surface here, even with the robot.
When I can make this damn thing bring me a drink, then AI has successfully navigated utopia. So I'm going to put this guy down.
I know that the Disney robot cost as much as you would expect for something to be able to bring you a drink. Unfortunately,
so hopefully you can hear him in the back.
yeah.
So there we go. I am connected. I don't know if you can see that, John. You can swear at me if I'm doing this wrong.
Yeah, I mean you can see it.
Maybe I can share what I'll do.
You can make your screen bigger. Oh, you can do that too.
Oh, why does Wi-Fi need to be on?
Here, just I'll hide your desktop, and then your camera will go on screen full, like this.
Oh,
now,
okay.
Now
so you want me to do this?
Oh, I just thought you were gonna. Hold on.
Anthropic starts going. Second, you hit the screen. Look at.
Yeah. Good. All
Okay.
right, let's see the phone.
This is our app. You can control left, right, all that great stuff. I know all the sounds he makes. So like if I want to do
you got to move the camera a bit more center.
Yeah, I'm gonna move it down.
There you go.
There he is. So I can move him around. Can turn him right. Can move his head. It's moving pretty slow right now, so we've got to turn the power up here a bit. We can trying to find his argument. There, that's his argument. So the goal will be is if I can do all this through Bluetooth, right?
Yeah.
Can we have our AI do this for us? So that was our goal. Is now that we've got this tool that can control it, and it's a pretty interface. Can I tell the droid to dance, for example?
Yeah.
Do a dance. Or if I say, I don't like you, you're a pain in the butt, he'll go blah, 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 and argue back at me, right? So I thought that would be a cool idea. Of course, Anthropic has decided otherwise today. We're 10 minutes in. What are you doing?
It's Friday, so it's obviously working slower today.
It's like, dude, it's beer day. I'm not going to do anything. Because the funny part is to do the actual app. So if you saw the app, I mean, it made it very Star Warsy looking. You can kind of see it. And it took like 5 minutes. That was a month ago. And here we are 10 minutes in and it can't even do this app. Drives me nuts. So point is, use libraries, swear about AI because it does stupid things.
Yeah, it's kind of at the point of not that you can't live with it, but you kind of can't live with it, but you can't live without it. So it's
but the funny thing is it's still a tool, right? It's a good tool. Yeah. Yes, it's taking us out of the IDE, but I still find I'm doing like, see, why is it putting these front slashes? That is not .NET works on backslashes, man. What are you doing? You open this in Windows now, that project's messed.
Maybe you need the skills all set up to I don't know if some of the MS Build skills from .NET would help with some of that.
I have them in here. If they're already installed. So this is going through, it's making the chat page. It's wiring up our libraries. I did see it went and created an info plist. Let's see in the IDE what we've got. So there's our macOS app. It's doing shell. Interesting. Interesting how it chose to do shell. I see it's brought in my constants, which I'm not going to open because that has my Anthropic key. It's brought in a chat. Oh, look at this. You are an onboard AI for Disney Droid, Disney Depot Droid, R series, BB, and BD series. You're connected to a physical droid over BLE, and you can control it with tools. use tools. The user asks to make a noise. Keep motor duration short, typically. Keep the motor power in a safe range. Like it decided all that. That's pretty cool. So because if you set this thing to full throttle, he'll run right into the wall.
But so it doesn't have like its own kind of safety range.
It does on the head. It won't let you crank the head too far.
Okay.
But if you set the power to max, which is funny because if you use so it comes with this kind of controller. And this control is just set to default. You can't blast it through a wall, but it turns out you can set the power really high, and this thing will like he'll smash right through a wall like the Kool-Aid Man. So it's pretty cool. I should give you this app, John.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might breathe some new life into the fun of the robots to be able to really amp them up.
So while it's going through this, let's see how far we got here.
And what did you just go, like, I know people have, because it's like a Disney thing and it's Bluetooth, like people have reverse engineered all the BLE protocol around it. I take it that wasn't hard to find, even with probably just AI doing it.
Yep. So it went and found all of the commands and stuff. The service UID that it scans on, the advertised name, all of the stuff. So this is all out there. It just works. So but it's using my my BLE library to scan into it. So we don't, basically this is the world. Scan for a droid and then connect to it and do these things. I mean, it's stupid simple. I might open source this just for fun. But it'll, if nothing else, the code will be available on our GitHub.
Because that's the even just the Bluetooth kind of thing itself. Like, I wonder now, a couple years ago, so I have quite actually more than a couple years ago, a pool robot, like cleaning robot, right? Vacuum thing. Mm-hmm. And the base station has BLE in it. And you can connect with their app, but their app is terrible. And what I would really like to do is have like a Raspberry Pi or even just a Arduino out there that could tell it to do something. But I've never been able to like reverse engineer the protocol. So I'd be curious if like how I might do that now with AI, because I know I've seen a lot of people in kind of that space of, go reverse engineer this like binary protocol now, and like AI, if you give it enough examples and sample data, usually can kind of get the job done now.
Which is actually,
you didn't have to do that though.
That's the one thing there's actually a fair bit of downloads on Linux. That's interesting. Huh. One of the things that I don't like about AI is that it's become the wild, wild west of, IP again, because it can go in and read the binary. Even if you obfuscate, I've seen it take apart obfuscated code. And I mean, we've got to ask the question, there's my droid disconnecting. There's got to be these questions asked, man. Like that's you're stealing IP to do it. So, I mean, whatever. Anyhow, one of the things is that now that we've got this protocol, so it deals with all of the Bluetooth commands without knowing the Bluetooth commands. I mean, you connect to it, you know all the actions because they're all right here. I mean, it's stupid simple, right? One of the things that I want to do with this thing, once we can chat with it, and this is why I think if we do this over the next couple of weeks, is I think I want to get like a speech to text into it so I can just talk to it, maybe give it some eyes through this guy. And so we'll wire it on my floor. We'll let the camera analyze the stream. So I'll be like, come punch me in the face.
Oh, yeah.
See me, and the droid will come and, full power blast into my kneecap or something. I mean, it sounds fun in theory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have it analyze everything going on there.
So that's where I wanted to attempt to go, is to take this and automate, or not automate, but make it so we can move it. Because again, you've got this pool thing. Maybe that's our next step. Can we reverse engineer that protocol and, turn John's robots into murder bots as well?
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to get through. Let's see how far it did get. Is it done cooking? It's not done cooking yet.
No, it's still doing it.
We're at 20,000 tickets, but it's going. It's going to create this app. Come
It's just fixing up your code,
But
cleaning
this
it up.
doesn't
for
exist.
you.
Look, it's going into this. I'm like, that doesn't exist, man. What are you doing? We've
Yeah.
done this before.
Yeah, sometimes it's like a kid. It's gotta make its own mistakes and learn
Yeah.
from them.
Well, it
And
has.
charge you more tokens for it in the process.
Well, the funny part is like, so Shiny does have, I'm going to open the Shiny app for a second. So this is the sample that I've been working on, or that I work with. So it already has a macOS sample that's fully like,
Yeah.
it's done, right? There's the MAUI program. Funny enough, where's the program.cs on this right now? Oh, main. So it's already figured this all out. It's done this before.
And yet different paths.
Yeah, just the way. See, it's still going through this, figuring it out. So I think what we've done is we've established what we want to do. I want to make this a murder bot. I want it to be able to use the camera, see where I'm at, try and run full speed into my kneecap because that sounds like fun.
I agree. I
Argue
support
with
that.
We can turn it into yours too. Johnny, this will control your droid as well. Get out your kids' droids. Be part of the action.
Maybe I'll have to grab them next time, and we can have them run into each other.
Oh,
one of them is BB-8 as well, so that's fun.
Oh, we could have this control multiple droids. I wonder if. Oh, John, we could do. Let's talk about this.
Droid show, dance
droids
coordinated,
and figure out how to kill each other. So you put both of them.
I was thinking less violent and more of the you could have them do the same thing in unison.
Oh, synchronized.
My daughter would like that.
Synchronized droiding.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got a plan. We've had some fun. We're going to come back next week because Claude really, this is what I love about live streams. At least it's not a demo, is that we can always carry it forward for every technical mistake this stupid thing makes.
Yeah, exactly.
And you still got to see it, and you know our plan, and you know that I'm going to open source this later. So if anybody wants to play with droids and you've got a Disney Droid, let's do it. But in the meantime, I think I'm going to let this spin. I'm going to let this cook, as the cool kids say. And we will come back next week.
And maybe next week it will leave no crumbs.
Hopefully we'll show less next week and we'll spin more. But this is like 20 minutes in going. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Claude is having a moment. Look at, he doesn't even know what he's doing. He's back and forth. All right. On that note, before I start swearing, I will hide this. Next week we will have a murder bot or a synchronized swimming bot. What do we want to call it?
No, I mean, murder bot's great as long as we don't get any takedown notices or anything for using the name.
Nobody liked that show anyways. I think you watched it. I thought it was stupid. I couldn't do it.
I watched a couple. That's it.
It was dumb. So we'll make a better one. Ours will be more entertaining because it'll try and take one of us out. And as I say that, literally it is done cooking. I cannot believe it. It's like it's listening anyways. So I am going to open source this and commit what we've got. And next week we will continue with our ideas of, let's connect to 2 droids. I will get both droids out. We will see if we can make them do a synchronized dance. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
We're all about having fun.
That's right. Cool. All right. I think that'll do it then. Thanks, Al, for watching. See you next week when robots are dancing.
Bye for now.